watching Keepin' It Green. I'm your host, Debbie Klughers, and today's show is about wildlife rescue. And this is Marcy. She's a Virginia Opossum, and she's been rescued by the great folks over at the Hampton Wildlife
Rescue Center of the Hamptons.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And my guest is Dennis Fleury.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we've got Marcy and
Martino.
Martino. We've got another special guest to come on in a little bit.
We do. This is Martino. Martino's an eastern Screech Owl, and this is a red-faced Screech Owl. And these guys live right here on Long Island, so you could go outside and you could probably see one at sunset, or at least hear one.
Are they come out more so at night?
They do. They're nocturnal. Yeah.
Great.
So.
Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the center?
Sure, absolutely. I'm Dennis Fleury. I'm the Education Director at Wildlife Rescue Center. And the Wildlife Rescue Center of the Hamptons in Hampton Bays on Montauk Highway is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year wildlife hospital.
Nice.
So animals on Long Island, they go through a lot of trouble. They get into danger, they get injured, they get trapped, they get orphaned, and there needs to be somebody there for these animals, you know.
How long have you guys been at that location?
Well, it was started by our director, Virginia Opossum, and she did it privately out of her home for a number of years. And when the workload just got too much, just to be too heavy for her to handle, they started looking for a different site. So now we're at Munns Pond County Park in Hampton Bays. And we'll be there about 10 years. I think next year we'll be there for 10 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
And do you take volunteers to help you with the taking care of the animals and all that?
Absolutely, yeah. Our volunteers are our life's blood. If we didn't have so many people from the community who really wanted to give something back to wildlife, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, I took a class in rescue and transport of the wild animals, and you did a nice course over in the Nature Conservancy's facilities in East Hampton.
Right.
And that was great. Do you still do that? Do you still?
We do. Our rescue transport volunteers are, they're some of the most important members of our volunteer staff. They're the ones who, they'll go out and actively rescue an injured wild animal, a seagull trapped in fishing line, a deer trapped in a fence, or any number of the animals that get hit by cars. So they'll go out, they know, we'll train them how to responsibly and safely, you know, rescue these animals and either take them to us or to one of our cooperating veterinarians.
A lot of good information that day that I learned, and I still have the booklet and
everything.
everything.
little booklet, right.
You know,
we do. We offer them periodically. So
good.
Yeah, if you want to come for a refresher, we'd love to have you.
That would be really good.
Definitely.
So the people that work at the facility are technically wildlife rehabilitators, and they're licensed to do that type of work. So people just, you know, good intentioned folks at home cannot take a wild animal into their home and try to take care of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of laws that with respect to wildlife. You can't have native species of birds and other animals. You have to have a special license from United States Fish and Wildlife. It's a federal license, and we're all New York State licensed wildlife rehabilitators or veterinary technicians.
Oh, that's great. And you have vets on call there, too, that help you out as well?
We do. We're really lucky to have several cooperating veterinarians who give a lot of their time.
That's great. So could you tell us if somebody was to see a little critter there, you know, not so sure what's going on with it, could you talk about what steps the public should take to try to help that animal?
Sure, definitely. I mean, there's a really easy way to do it is when in doubt, just call the Wildlife Rescue Center. It's 631-728-WILD, and somebody will always be there to help you. If you think that there's a songbird that might be stunned after, you know, flying into glass, or might have gotten struck by a car or caught by a cat, that's something that somebody can take a towel and pick up and put in a shoebox and, you know, maybe bring down to us. But if we're talking about something like one of these owls or the other owl I'm going to show you guys today, or even an opossum can be scary to some people. So we don't recommend that anybody handle any wildlife unless you've either been trained or you know what you're doing through experience.
And talking about songbirds, you know, I like to do some environmental tips at the beginning of the shows, and I found a few ways, because songbirds hitting windows is one of the major killers of, I think it was 90 million to 900 million is the estimate of how many birds are killed. And there were simple tips that people can do, like they could put cut out a silhouette of a hawk or an owl, and in the diving position, and kind of adhere them with some contact paper to their windows.
Yep.
Or they could, you know, hang like some plants or wind chimes or anything to cut that. To give a glare, actually.
Exactly. Anything that's going to break up that bird's vision in between, you know, its trajectory and the glass. They'll give them a reason to turn to the side. So a hawk silhouette works very well.
Right.
Sometimes wind chimes, or if you plant things, you know, some native plants out in front of the window, might encourage them to actually stop and have a meal and not even fly into your window.
Sure. And bird feeder placement. Don't place them by the windows.
Oh, no. Yeah, many people, I mean, we love seeing these beautiful songbirds and cardinals.
And I've seen them, they stick on the windows. People put the bird feeders that stick on the windows, and maybe that's not the best thing.
Probably not, no. I mean, it depends. They want to balance, you know, we want to see these birds, but we also want to safely see them, yeah, so they could come in for that food and hit the window and wind up at our facility.
And window screens.
Window screens are the best.
Kind of, they bounce off.
Yeah, they bounce right off, you know, if they're far enough away from the glass, so screens are the best thing. And if you do have, you know, a bird that hits your window, you can call us and bring them down.
I read that you should, like, watch it for a little bit, put it in a warm, safe location, you know, kind of in a little dark box, and they can recover, that they're kind of stunned, and they probably will be okay, but if they don't, then the folks can give you a buzz.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Always feel free. That's why we're there for the community, so don't ever hesitate to call us with any wildlife questions. But yeah, if you take a songbird that's been stunned after hitting a window and you place it someplace, you know, out of harm's way, you don't place it, you know, right by the cat's bowl that you leave outside, but sometimes they'll recover and they'll shake it off and go off on their way. But other times they'll develop a head tilt, or they won't be able to fly. They might have an injury or a sprain, and we try to fix them and get them back out there.
So what animals don't you take at your facility?
We're not licensed right now to do raccoons and bats. These are animals that can carry rabies and other zoonotically transmitted diseases to humans. And
so if they saw an injured raccoon, what should someone do?
See, that's a very, very tough thing to talk about. New York State does not let wildlife rehabilitators take care of these raccoons, and they have a policy that every raccoon that they have to come and investigate must be euthanized.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a very, very hard thing. So sometimes if you see a raccoon and it might have a minor injury, it might be limping, and you might want to, you know, you feel that compassion welling up, but sometimes it's better to just leave it and let it survive on its own, because if animal control does take it there, they're required to euthanize it.
And you take care of deer?
We do. Yeah, we do.
Big undertaking, I would think.
It definitely is, yeah. And it was like we were speaking before, I was telling you, there were hunting. Some people need to hunt, and white-tailed deer are the animal of choice for hunters to feed their families with. We take care of the deer that get hit by cars. They get trapped in people's fences or poisoned, and we can't just leave them there to die.
So you take care of them? We
do. We'll take them, we'll tranquilize them, we'll bring them back to our center, and we're experienced with white-tailed deer. So we'll fix their legs. If they have broken bones, we'll check for internal injuries.
So you rescue and you rehab. Do you release some of these animals?
That's the ultimate goal, and that is the best part of my job.
Wow.
We get to rescue them, we get to rehabilitate them and fix whatever's wrong with them, and then when they're healed, we get to release them, and we take them back where we found them or close by, and we let them go.